All right. One of the most shocking coaching firings I think I've seen in quite some time. Robert Saleh out as Jets head coach just after 5 games in this season. I mean, he had other years. And, why is this so shocking? Well, the Jets came into the season looking to be championship contenders, right? We thought that they might be able to win a Super Bowl, or at the very least, that was what they were going for. That's what they were hoping, was this could be a Super Bowl contending team. Obviously, it has not gone well through 5 games. They ultimately lose a tight one with the Minnesota Vikings in London. One thing worth mentioning is this is not a long turnaround. They do have an extra day. Their next game is on Monday Night Football, but they still are, it's only 6 days that they will play in their next football game, and they have to do all that traveling. This is going to be a quick turnaround for a team that, listen, let's talk about the decision to fire a head coach. I'll say this. You can't waste too many years with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, right? If Aaron Rodgers is your guy, and I think, played well this year. I know last week didn't go particularly well, but he's played well this year, I think, as a whole. If you're going to go all in with him, you only have so much time. And if you think that Saleh isn't the guy, it's better to make a move now, maybe go through some growing pains against the Bills, who knows how that game could go. The Bills are going to be favored. Go through some growing pains here and make it work that way. I can understand the logic. I even advocated for Tampa Bay to do something similar when it wasn't working very well with their coaching staff in Tom Brady's last year. Granted, Todd Bowles has improved a lot as a head coach since then, but that's what I advocated for at the time. So I get the logic behind it. I think the question that I have is, why is it a head coach firing and not an offensive coordinator firing? Because Robert Saleh, for all of his faults, this defense is coming off of one of the most impressive defensive performances of the season. Now, they also had one of the most impressive defensive performances of the season happen against them with what Minnesota did, but still, I thought that the Jets defense looked great. And listen, we can sit here and say, well, it's the personnel. For offenses, that tends to be the case. For offenses, personnel tends to be the number one thing that matters. For defenses, coaching matters a lot, and we see it happen a lot when a team with a good defense gets a new coordinator. It looks horrible, or the other way around. Look at the Vikings with Brian Flores, right? 3 years ago, they had a rough defense. They lose key pieces and get and get Brian Flores, and the defense gets way better, and then even this year, it loses key pieces and it's gotten even better. Sometimes it is about the person at the top. Not saying that's what is happening here. We don't know. But, that's just another wrinkle in all of this. Of course, you can't help but wonder how much of this is due to management. What's going on here, and was there a power struggle? Perhaps you just have to wonder that, right? Because I think typically the way these things go is the offensive coordinator gets fired. Because I'll be honest, that was a rough offensive day for the Jets. It just was, and I mean, part of me does wonder, with the interim head coach, does Hackett get the head coaching gig if he is someone who, he's had the experience before. Even if it didn't go particularly well, he has had the experience before. I'm shocked by this move. I really am. I mean, listen, I'm not sitting here and saying that Robert Saleh was a great head coach. I'm not. There were absolutely some issues, and I think moving off of him, it's not the craziest decision in the world. The reason why this is so surprising for me is you now have a quick turnaround against a big opponent against Buffalo. I mean, if they lose this, they're now 2-4. Another divisional loss, those could add up. You're in a situation where that you have to find ways to win games now. They had a bye week later on, so they couldn't really fire a head coach during a bye week unless they wanted to wait another 6 weeks. So that is kind of the issue you have. At least you do have the extra day when you do it this way, even if you do have to travel that far. So I understand that. I think the dilemma is, you can't really get a new system that quickly, right? You're going to have to still mostly do the Robert Saleh stuff, even if you don't have him as the head coach anymore. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is, again, there's just turmoil now, and I think Robert Saleh, like I said, for all his faults, was coaching a pretty good defense, and the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but I think that, Jets fans who defend this move, which I imagine a good amount of Jets fans will defend this move, are going to say a very fair point, which is we weren't winning a Super Bowl for Robert Saleh. Say what you want about everything. They weren't winning a Super Bowl with him, and making this move now at least opens up that door. Can you get a better coach? Maybe you'll screw it up. I don't know. But maybe you won't. And again, could they go for a Bill Belichick type hire? I know that sounds insane, but at the same time, like, it sounds insane to fire your head coach when you're trying to make the playoffs this early in the season. Again, we've seen head coaches get fired this early in the season, but usually it's not a 2-3 team that, as of right now, is tied for a playoff spot due to the weak AFC. It feels like it really feels early for me. It just does. It feels early for this to happen 5 games into the Aaron Rodgers tenure. I mean, that's all he got. His career was going to be linked to Aaron Rodgers. We all thought 5 games in, he's cut. So hey, things happen fast in the NFL. Okay, and we have a confirmation now. I was hopeful we'd get to this before I finish my video, but Jeff Ulbrich will be the interim head coach. Ulbrich was trying to figure out what his actual he was the defensive coordinator. So that's interesting. So he was defensive coordinator for the Jets, who I'm a little bit confused by this. What are we gaining here other than just I don't know, rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, I suppose, is kind of how it feels. What are we getting here? Maybe Ulbrich is a really good locker room guy. Okay, I can see that. He was a former linebacker, so that makes sense. I think those guys are always great locker room guys. But Saleh was pretty well known for being a good locker room guy, right? That was his biggest strength. I think people criticized that's kind of all he did was that in defense. And then I don't know. It's a move that, on paper, I don't get. I don't understand this. Worth mentioning, Ulbrich is the interim head coach. Maybe maybe they're still looking for a Belichick. I don't know. Wow, what a surprise. And I don't know. I think my overall opinion is I don't think this is a devastating move. I don't think that they're going to be screwed because of this, but I think this is a mistake. I do. I think you're asking now someone who, was doing a good job with the defense as well. Ulbrich was doing a good job helping out that defense. Now he has to take on head coaching duties. We see sometimes it struggles. Usually you get a bump when you fire a head coach the first week, and then it struggles from there on out. Well, they could use this bump on Monday, but people are going to bring Aaron Rodgers into it, right? Because that's just what people do. I don't know how much this was Rodgers' how much he had to do with this. The fact that someone lost their job and it's not Hackett after the great defense and the horrible offense, it's just confusing for me. But that's just how I see it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.